everybody. Welcome in to Becoming Undefined. I'm MJ Acosta Ruiz, and yes, we are still at CurlyCon LA, the second annual, just getting our family reunion on. And speaking of family, my guest right now is a very dear friend of mine. She is a model. She is an activist. She is a speaker. She's a mogul, an entrepreneur, content creator. She is so many things and so much more. Welcoming me right now to CurlyCon, really her introduction to the curly hair space. I have the gorgeous, the profound, and incomparable Ayesha Perry Iqbal. She's a dear friend of mine, not only here in Los Angeles, but somebody that I really resonate with because of all of the things that she has been able to share, not just with me, but with everybody on her platform. So we'll get into it on how she's becoming undefined more and more every day and how she does so fearlessly and unapologetically. We'll be right back with Ayesha Perry Iqbal. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Of course, I feel like this is an extension of like our girl dinners.
Absolutely.
Right? Like the
absolutely.
Because
we be gossiping,
so
like wine and yap all the way.
Cocktails, wine. Today it's around curly culture, which is like a whole new endeavor for you.
Yes.
And I feel like for someone who has touched every part of the beauty industry at this point, like not just in the forward-facing part as a model, a mogul, a creator, a speaker, but also your business acumen on the other side. So stepping into a space where you're like, oh, this is new to me.
Yeah, brand spanking new.
What made you want to start embracing your curly texture?
Honestly, I have struggled with my identity, I think my whole life.
Yeah.
I grew up in the UK as a mixed race person. I'm half Pakistani and half Welsh. I grew up with all white people.
Yeah.
I wasn't brown enough for the brown people. I wasn't white enough for the white people. I know that mixed race people can understand that. And I think that like moving to America really made me embrace my ethnic side and my identity and the fact that I don't live in the world as a white woman.
Right.
And I got to meet people from all different backgrounds, like women who are also mixed race, of all different mixes, people from other countries, people with multiple languages. And I've gotten to a point now that I'm in my 30s that I'm just like, you know what? Let's embrace like the natural nails, work on my skin. I want to be like the best version of myself. And I feel like you have to strip it down to like the bare basics to really figure out who you are. And one day I was just like, you know what? Let's just see what this hair journey's about. And actually, I really like my curls.
So good. They look amazing. They look so good. And for those folks who like don't know, like the journey is like, it's called a journey for a reason because it's so much trial and error. You're trying to figure out not just like the products and the routine, but like, how do I feel in this, right? Like, it's a part of you, to your point. Like, I didn't embrace my natural curls well into my 30s.
Yeah.
Like, in our culture, in the Caribbean, as an Afro-Latina, all they want you to do is conform to that Eurocentric beauty standard.
I think that's universal. Anywhere
100%.
that the British, and we're going to say the British because
Sure.
I'm British and I can say it. Anywhere that they've colonized, which is
everywhere.
Black, Asian, everywhere, they have caused that to happen, which has caused generations after the fact, our generations, to have to deal with the aftermath of our cultures being minimized.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it anymore.
No,
so
we're done. We're done.
We're done.
We're done.
You're done.
You're done. But I think that's what, like, a moment like this, right? Like, you see the community and it almost feels like a renaissance.
Yeah.
It feels like a rebellion in the very best way. All rebellions are great, in my opinion. But, like, the fact that we can all come together and everyone's like, okay, what works for you? What works for you? Oh, my God, I love your curls. I love this. Like, it feels like home. And I think it ties into, like, the greater purpose of what women are going through today, present day, right? Like, I think what really strikes me about you and the conversations we had and how you use your platform is that advocacy for women's rights has always been at the forefront of how you speak, how you move. What fueled you to really use your platform on social media and on digital platforms to advocate for women's rights?
Well, I'm a survivor of domestic violence. After I left my relationship, thank God, I went online and I was like, you know what? I needed to find community. I needed to find information. I had no understanding of what was happening to me. I just felt so alone and isolated. And I came across a TED Talk, and it was of an older white lady, and she was explaining her experience with domestic violence. And as much as it gave me a lot of information, I didn't feel connection, and I didn't feel like I was seen and heard. So I started working with different domestic violence organizations, and I realized that the forefront in conversations are with white survivors.
Right.
And yes, they are part of the conversation, but they're not the only conversation. And as you know, as in non-white communities, they stick with their communities.
Sure.
And if you're not seeing people that look like you, you're not going to feel safe to come forward. So that made me really think, like, you know what? I didn't have the help, so maybe someone will have the help from my story. So I started sharing online and started getting more into it. And I just realized there's so many issues. I mean, between the UK and the US, if we just talk about those, if you're not white, you're not a victim. Nothing happened to you. You're stronger. You can put up with more. You deserve it. What did you do?
Oh.
And unfortunately, I'm not the type of person that's going to sit back and allow this to keep happening to us and not be a voice to stand up and speak, especially because I've experienced it.
100%.
So that's why.
And we had that moment. We talked about it a bit. I was sexually assaulted several years ago. And like, thank you for being so open and candid, because I know even saying that I'm a survivor of domestic violence, it takes a long time to get to the point where you can say the words out loud.
And when you realize that actually it doesn't define you, what happened to me doesn't define me.
Yeah.
So yes, something happened to me, something very bad happened to me that I didn't deserve.
Yeah.
But I am now the best version of myself because of the healing journey that I decided to take.
Right.
Because of my unfortunate experience.
Right.
So.
And the growth there has the community response, right? Like the other women that you've been able to speak, has that helped you in your journey as much as it's helped them find like a point of connection?
Honestly, I didn't realize so many women have experienced either domestic violence, any form of violence against them. I didn't realize it was such a massive issue.
No.
Everybody I know, every girl that I have ever met has had something happen to them, and that is disgusting to me.
No.
Like, so yes, it makes me feel like I'm not like the only person, and that you can talk about things, and you know, especially when you meet other people who are on their healing journeys as well.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, I did this and I did this, or I'm like this many years along or whatever, and you're like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Like there's such light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to these scenarios. It's not just this and then you're down bad, you know?
Right. How do you navigate now? Because there's so many things, especially living in the United States, that are so triggering. There is an all-out assault on women's rights. It's not subtle. It's very blatant. It's very in our face. And I think, like, I find myself like, okay, that was a lot. Like, I feel that very deeply. Have you found any devices that have helped you sort of navigate to like reground yourself? Because the journey is a journey. Like, it's not just like, oh, and now I'm better. Like, there are always things that are going to trigger us. And we have to like use the tools that we now have to get right back on, like, that's not who I am. That's not the place in my life that I'm in. But it doesn't make it any easier to have to live with it.
For me, what's happening in politics and society doesn't trigger me at all. It actually brings like a fuel of fire out in me to be like, oh, how can I help? What can I do to make change? How can I stand forward with the women that I believe in?
Sure.
How can I move my career in the place that we can do bigger things and help women?
Yeah.
I think really where I get triggered is in like my intimate partner relationships. Now that I'm in a space where I'm like starting to date again, because I took a period of time off, which I think I really needed.
Sure.
Now that I'm dating again, I've noticed that it's very small things that I didn't even realize were an issue are coming up, and I'm like, oh, I feel unsafe.
Yeah.
But it shows me that I've come along so much that I am in a place that I can identify that I feel unsafe.
Yeah.
And thankfully, because I'm in a good position, I am attracting men who are just safer. And if I feel unsafe, I can talk to them about feeling unsafe, and they hold a safe space for me. So overall, I think, to button this, I think in intimate partner relationships, when you meet the right people, then you're just safe, period.
Yeah.
I think you should just feel safe in all facets of your life.
I love that. And it's true. And I think that open communication takes a while for you to be self-assured enough to be like, no, this is the boundary, right? To get there. With that in mind, since you mentioned dating, like I have been in a long-term relationship for almost 15 years. So I have missed like the dating apps, and then you add the layer of the fact that you live in Los Angeles. How do you do it? Like, I get the whole, I'm going to take a minute. Take a beat. Like, that's a lot.
Honestly, the dating pool is in the depths of hell. It is in the depths of hell. But I don't do the dating apps. Yeah. I'm not into that vibe because for me, I want to meet someone in person. Like how we're talking now, I can catch a vibe from you. I'm getting the energy. I want to feel that in person with a man when I meet him.
Yep.
And then I think like when it comes to dating, it's again goes back to like, what are my non-negotiables? What are things that are solid no's for me? Yep. And what are things that I'm actually looking for outside of like their physical appearance? What are things that I would want in a long-term partner that would make me feel safe, that would make me be attracted to someone? And I think focusing on those things has really helped me navigate, sift out people quickly. Because it's not like men don't come up and talk to me. You know what I mean? It's not like men aren't interested.
Right.
But a lot of them are just not. You gotta kiss a lot of frogs to get.
Right.
So I'm not even kissing them. I'm just like,
exactly
non-negotiable. You're done.
Bye. You don't even get that far. Bye. We're not doing this.
But also you have to be open.
Yeah.
I think I wasn't open for a long time. And I think now that I finally am, it's like attracting the right people in all facets of my life. Yeah. Business, friendships, intimate partner relationships. You have to be open to receiving goodness.
Oh, I love that. Because I think we can close ourselves off as a defense mechanism, which is fair, by the way. But I think that vulnerability really can open up so many doors for you, to your point, in so many facets of your life. So I want to pivot for a bit to your career, because I think you're a multi-hyphenate, someone who has done so many things and continues to evolve and emerge in really the spaces that you're really penetrating. What are the things that people don't see about entrepreneurship? Because let's call it what it is, okay? It's like everyone's like, oh my God, it's okay, you have so much freedom. They don't see the late nights editing, it's a lot.
I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Especially when you're sharing content creation, it's like I'm creating content all day, every day. If anything, I'm trying to fit my personal life in to my job. On top of that, people don't talk about how financially straining it is to expand your career. Yep. Like I went from modeling, I was making great money. It was something I could have just stayed doing, but I was like, you know what? I need something more. I want to expand my career. I want to get into a space where I can help women. Okay, so now I have to cut off a load of income to be put in a position where I can do that. So you can go periods of time where it's not easy, it's hard. And you have to invest a lot of time and a lot of money in yourself. You have to do a lot of things for free. You have to really, really nurture your connections and nurture your relationships in the industry. And you have to be a good person.
That part.
Because you do one thing wrong to someone and you're done. That could ruin your whole career.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that I really love what I do. And I'm so passionate about the things that I believe in. And I feel like I have more purpose than just like, oh, this is what hair product I'm using. It's more like, you know, there's a reason behind everything that I'm doing, which gives me that fuel to keep going. You always have to have that. Yeah. You can't just want to be famous.
I know. Exactly that. Like, there has to be a purpose behind what you're doing, or like, what is the point? Not to say that you can't find success, quote unquote, with that as your fuel.
Because in the downtime, you're going to have that fuel.
There's an end to it. Like that. That's exactly why I started this show and this part. You were asking me, you're like, what made you do that? One, to have the autonomy to do something that was my own, right? I think like when you have that freedom to say like, I'm going to do this how I want, when I want. But the other side of that is like, it's coming out of your pocket.
Yep.
You're the one sending the emails, getting the call sheet together, getting your content together, producing things. Like I think people don't see we're literally running a business. Like we are business entities.
And I think that's what a lot of people forget. I was having this conversation with one of my really good friends the other day, and he's very artistic and he's very creative, but he doesn't understand the business side of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the business side of it is more important than the creative.
No question.
Honestly. Because people who don't have anything going for them are making big things happen because they have the business sorted and they have the finances and they have the backing. Like, if you got your business brain right, you can do whatever you want to do. If you understand marketing and branding, you're done. That's it. Yeah. You're good. It's a wrap.
All in.
And you got the goods as well, and you're pretty. Come on. The world's your oyster, babes.
Yeah. But our dear friend Joy says this all the time. The climb takes time. And people only see what's on the surface, the highlight reel of social media. They don't see everything else. Like this morning, we're coming here, my husband's like, hey, how are you doing? I was like, on the verge of a breakdown, but it's okay. And he like grabbed my hand and I was like, I didn't even realize I needed that like release. Cause like we're carrying things like so tightly all the time. We don't even realize it because we as entrepreneurs and as self-starters have programmed ourselves to like, just push through.
Yeah.
Just do it. Like this whole week, I'm like, okay, Saturday's going to be bomb. And then Sunday I can rot. Yeah. So like I put that like finish line for myself as like a treat. Why is rest
like
a treat?
Sunday is a treat, guys.
Rest is a treat? Like, what are we doing? I'm not saying it's good, everybody. I'm not saying it's healthy, but like,
it's definitely not healthy.
Not healthy at all. But like, I don't know the alternative.
But also there's periods of time that you have to sacrifice to get to the point where you can have that time. Like when you're working a 9 to 5, the system's already set up for you. You go in, you do your job, you go home. You can have the private life, but you're also not excelling to the extent that you could if you ran your own business. Yeah. We are business owners. Yes. We're entrepreneurs, business owners. So it's hard. I mean, look, for example, Victoria Monet, like 10, 15 years in the business, who I absolutely love, by the way.
Her. Yeah.
10, 15 years in the business, wins Best Newcomer at the Grammys.
Artist. And she's been on the scene forever.
But then it goes to that diagram. I don't know if you've seen it, where it's like the iceberg, and like the peak of the iceberg is like what people see. And it's that years and years of climbing up. Yep. But if you really want something, nothing's going to stop you.
But then they call it an overnight success that doesn't exist.
10 years overnight success.
10 years overnight. Okay. It's a slow burn. Okay. So what has been in the modeling world? I think that so much happens. You have like a craziest modeling story. How much time do we have?
The craziest modeling story that I have?
I'm sure there's a whole book worth.
Well, I actually got told that my ethnicity was a risk. So when I started modeling, obviously I was in the plus size community, which is also crazy to me because like,
what are we talking
how
about?
Are you calling any girls above size 0 and 2 a plus size person?
Literally, yeah.
But I'm all here for representation. Yep. I was the only Pakistani plus model in the United States for the entirety of my career.
Jesus.
So everything that I did was an opening, a stepping stone, a moment for girls that look like me.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy that this is even a thing.
Yeah.
And then I would obviously want to work with different brands. I was great at networking. I would go out, I would put in the back end work to get it done. And a few brands told me that my ethnicity was a risk for their customers. What do you mean?
What are we talking about?
So apparently they just didn't want the brown girls in the pictures. But, and also agencies would just put me in this bracket of like Latino instead of just embracing the fact that I'm South Asian.
They're like ethnically ambiguous.
But there's a whole community of South American women that are represented, and I love that. Yeah. But like, come on, let me represent my own community.
Right, exactly.
And also, we deserve to be seen, and they are customers. Mm-hmm. So
lots of spending power, by the way.
Lots and lots of spending power. But then I think that goes deeper into the state of the country, racism, immigration issues, and I think the connotation of South Asian people is terrorist, and I think that leans into so many aspects of the entertainment and fashion industries. Yeah. Even when I was trying to act initially, it was like the terrorist wife or the terrorist, or, you know, change your name so it's more palatable and you know, not so ethnic.
Yeah.
It's just an issue that is still there, and it's going to keep happening until people keep saying, no, we're not doing this. That's why things like CurlyCon is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. To see that there's like so many layers and the intersectionality that's there is super important. With all that in mind, we carry a lot. So if you could put anything down to unburden yourself, what would it be? Where would you start? Let's start there. Where would you start? So I'd put many things down, honestly.
Honestly, I would put down a whole backpack of things.
Yeah.
But I really would put down the pressure that I have on myself to feel like anything that happens to women around the world has something to do with me. Like I have to help everyone. Yeah. Like I need to put down that weight on my back because it stops me from helping anyone.
Yeah.
I think, like, you know, in Afghanistan, the women are so completely segregated from society with lack of rights. We look at women in Palestine, for example, who their children are dying and they don't have access to anything. It's violence against them, period. And then you can look over here just on our doorstep where women can't even get body autonomy. They can't even get, like, abortion care.
Yeah.
Even if they want to have a child, they can't even get it.
Right.
So I'm so tapped in, I think, with a lot of, like, geopolitics, that I think it puts a lot of pressure on my back when I'm like, oh my God, I can see myself in all these women and I need to do something. And it just puts, like, that crippling, like, oh my God, like, okay, I can boycott things. And it's like, at what point can I actually help? Because I'm shriveling right now and I don't know what else to do, you know?
Yeah.
So I would take that off my back a little bit.
It's hard when you're an empath to subtract yourself. You see yourself in all these women. That's heavy. That is heavy. Oh, Ayesha. Okay, last question for you. What do you feel makes you undefined?
Ooh, what makes me undefined?
Yeah. Or becoming undefined. There's a reason I added that extra word because I think it's also part of the journey.
I think, honestly, being authentically myself, unapologetically me.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks about me.
Nor should you, by the way.
I do what I want. I say what I want. I wear what I want. I am who I am. And if you don't like it, you're done.
Right.
So I think, and that's taken a long time to get there. So I would say I'm definitely already undefined.
I love that.
I'm becoming more undefined. You cannot put me in a box.
Period. Ayesha, thank you so much, my love.
Of course.
Ah, amazing. Another incredible conversation. And I feel like every time that I have all of this discourse, not just with women who I admire, but women who I've been able to connect with throughout the industry, it really fills my cup. Ayesha is one of those people that you meet her and her energy is just so infectious. Not necessarily because it is high energy, but because she's so intentional about everything that she says. And she wants you to really feel it very deeply, but she also doesn't care what you think about it on the other side. And I think that's something that we can all really glean from how she represents herself, right? And I think the more that we do so in stripping away the expectations of what other people will think of us. You guys have all heard the phrase, what other people think of you is none of your business. I feel like that might be Ayesha's motto in life, and it's something that I really want to adopt. And so I'm so happy that she came on and spoke with me, poured into me as well and into all of us, and just gave me a little bit more to think about, to sit with, to marinate on, if you will, but also a lot to be really proud of. What really hit with what she said was how she sees herself in so many women and is trying to find a way to really do more to help. And so few people come from a place of grace and a place of really servitude to others. And so I think that in everything that Ayesha is doing, we can maybe take a little piece of what she's trying to give to the world while also hold on to things for herself. Thank you guys for joining me on Becoming Undefined. We'll have more guests from CurlyCon, Los Angeles.